Hey guys, Darren Murphy here, aka More Precious Dust. In my last video, I showed you a few ways I like to use the simpler tool in Ableton, which was fine and not embarrassing whatsoever. Simpler is a very powerful sampling tool, and the way it automates the slicing of your samples can streamline your creativity and bring you to musical situations you wouldn't have otherwise been able to get to. But as you also saw in the last video, sometimes that automation can render musical situations which are not desirable. And in those instances, you may just have to bite the bullet and take the time to slice a sample up manually. And today I'm going to show you two instances where I did just that. One from a song from my 2019 album Starboard Flood, which you can stream on Spotify or anywhere you stream music, and another from a song I'm working on right now, which will be featured on my new album coming up, hopefully by the end of the year, maybe a little bit into next spring. So let's kick it. So after I got the idea for this video, I found out that I no longer have the original vocal sample that I sliced up on my song from my last album that I wanted to show you guys. Pretty disappointing. Oh, mother horse big load of bull. So after 12 wonderful years, my 2011 MacBook finally crapped the bed. I had it backed up, and for the life of me still, I can't find the file that I'm looking for. But I can still talk about it briefly. The song I wanted to show you was the last track on my 2019 album Starboard Flood, called No More to See. What I did is I had my cousin Sarah sing the first verse of Bjork's song I've Seen It All from her beautiful and tragic movie Dancer in the Dark, and that's what I chopped up. Is that plagiarism, even though I re-recorded the vocal and then chopped it up to make it my own? You guys be the judge. But if Bjork ever sues me for plagiarism, I will know at that moment that I have made it. Let's take a listen. Okay, so check out my cousin Sarah Lizotte's music on Spotify. I'll link to her page down below. So after she recorded her vocals, I simply sliced them up and threw the slices into an empty drum rack. From there, I could play them like an instrument with a controller or a keyboard, or I could use the draw tool in a MIDI clip. Let's move on to my new song so I can show you guys what I'm talking about. So the sample that I want to manually slice today in my new song is from a Bulgarian choir that I stumbled across. Now, I don't want to butcher any pronunciations, so the name of the choir is here, the name of the writer is here, and the name of the conductor is here. I will also link this video down in the description below. So let's listen to the portion of this choir that I want to sample today. Okay, sounds pretty cool. But if you guys watched the last video using the simpler instrument, you may surmise why this isn't a great candidate to throw into simpler. The transient mode of slicing automatically probably won't work very well because it's a vocal, doesn't have any drums. But on top of that, it's not a very punchy vocal. It's softer, it's more ethereal. So that'll just be kind of a mess. And the beats mode, well, that's not going to work either because I haven't warped this to the grid whatsoever, nor do I want to. I want to keep the sound and the timbre of this vocal 100%. So the beats mode will also just be a mess. Thus, that's why I concluded that I need to slice this up manually. Now, there is a manual mode in Simpler. Let me just throw on a new MIDI track here real quick and show you that. All right, so we'll grab the portion that I want to sample. Back to there, grab it, drag it in, go to slice. So, all right, it defaults to transient, so you already see it's kind of a mess. But let's go to the manual mode that I was talking about. Now you can put your start point, end point, wherever. And what manual mode in Simpler allows you to do is use your magnifying glass to double click and put your slices wherever you want. But I find that's somewhat inaccurate. They're difficult to move, and I don't know how you delete an individual one. Maybe it's something simple, and maybe someone can tell me how to do it in the comments below. But all I figured out is how to clear them all at once in totality, which is like kind of dumb. So basically what I'm saying is I think the manual mode in Simpler defeats its purpose. It's just going to be more accurate to just stay in your clip mode and highlight what portion of the clip you want to sample at that time. So that is why instead of using a Simpler tool, we're going to use a drum rack. So I have a MIDI track here already set up to receive our drum rack. So let's grab that, drag it in. And like I said, we're just going to grab samples of or portions of our sample and drag it into the drum cells. So the goal here is to get like nice, good syllables, singular syllables, isolated syllables to be on each pad or be on each key or be on each MIDI note, whichever way you're approaching this. So let's take another listen again. Okay, so that first syllable, I definitely want to be on my first pad. So basically what you do is you highlight the syllable and you hit Command E. And now what's great about this portion is you don't have to be incredibly accurate to where your start or end point is on the clip that you're slicing. So I've highlighted that. Basically it looks like the syllable that we want. Hit Command E. Okay, there we go. Now that it's isolated, go to the drum rack there, and we're going to drag that into our first cell. And so you see something that looks like the Simpler actually pops up when you do that. But what's great about doing it this way is you also see that the entire clip is still embedded in this tiny clip that we highlighted, which is good, because now that you're in Simpler, this is where you want to fine-tune the start and the end point. So let's see what that sounds like. Okay, so another trick here, or something to note, is that even though it sounds nice that the attack kind of rises up, you want the attack to be quicker. So you want it to be playable on a pad. So you want to just start a little later in the syllable and just play around with it until both your start points and your end points feel good when you're hitting a key or a pad. Oh, okay, my end point is a little too far there because I don't want the other syllable to start creeping in. Okay, it's still a little delayed there, so. Okay, that sounds pretty good. So, yeah, do it that way when you're slicing up manually. Another thing I could have done is when I sliced this up, I could have hit Command J to completely consolidate it, but then the rest of the clip would not have been embedded, and thus you better have gotten your start and end point correct at that moment, because you're not going to be able to adjust it anymore. So let me grab that same clip after I just hit Command J to consolidate, throw it into the next cell, and it's just that portion. So I can make it shorter, but I can't go beyond the bounds of that slice. So hit Command D, do not hit Command J. Basically what I'm telling you. So let me delete that one. And I'm basically just going to continue going through this clip and finding nice syllables that will be good candidates for pad one hits or key one hits, right? And I think the next syllable is also a nice one. All right, so let's grab that. It's already sliced on the left, so I can just hit Command D right there. Grab that, drag it in. Okay, so now it's currently on my second pad here on my push. Okay, increase start. Okay, sounds about right. I think the end can be a little later. Okay, cool. And I'm just going to go through this clip and find good candidates of syllables that can be one-shots on pads. That's basically all it is. That's basically all I did for manually slicing this up. Just taking a portion of a song, highlighting it, hit Command D, and dragging it into a drum cell. Basically it. So let's see now how it sounds at the end of the day. And this is a preview to a song on my new album. Alright guys, I hope you liked the video on manual slicing. Please tickle that like and subscribe button, and I will see you next time.